to task 66. We are going to be assembling our very own selfie stick. Let's take a look at the assignment. As you can see, if you scroll through Schoology, you can see we are assembling a kind of complicated assembly here with a lot of different parts, different joints, but it's going to come out to be something pretty neat. I think you'll be proud of your work. So let's get started. Another question you might have is, why are we making a selfie stick? And it's our chance to create an assembly that has a lot of not just realistic but real parts, multiple parts for one assembly. We're going to be playing with several different joints, some joints that we haven't used before, so we'll get a chance to experiment with them. And we're going to do something a little bit different where we will import a CAD part from a catalog that you could actually buy in a store. So we're going to include that in our assembly. It's going to be pretty neat. So why don't we get started? In Onshape, you can find the parts for our project under Shared with Me. Look for task 66 selfie stick parts. And as usual, you're going to use your hamburger menu here to copy the workspace. And I'm going to put it in my classwork folder. I hope you do too. And I'm going to change it. I'll just change it to task 66 with my name. Okay. Great, looks like we're ready. Before we get started, I just wanted to kind of survey the parts that we have here. We have sort of the key to that we're going to start with at the beginning is this piece called the shoe. And it is going to connect to something called the shoe bottom, which is here, and the shoe top, which is here. So those are going to be our starter pieces, and they're just kind of some pieces that let you adjust your selfie stick, and they kind of help hold everything together. We have this piece which is called the stick adapter, and that is, as you might imagine, it adapts the stick to connect to your phone. So this is going to be sort of where the stick meets up with the parts that hold the phone for the selfie stick. So we have our stick adapter here. We have something called the stick top and the stick bottom. And then over here we have the phone bottom, the phone holder bottom, and the phone holder top. And those are pieces that, as you may have guessed, hold the phone in place when one is taking a selfie. All right, the part that we are going to import is from a catalog is called a thumb screw. Why don't we get started on that right now? You can find the link to the catalog we're using in our Schoology assignment. If you scroll through all these slides, all of the slides, here is our link. We're going to open the McMaster car catalog. Schoology is noting that we're redirecting. There we go. And the part that we're going to, once you get to the McMaster car catalog, we're going to use the search bar here to search for a 2-arm plastic head thumb screw. You can kind of see it comes up pretty quickly. So make sure you are searching for the 2-arm plastic head thumb screw. Once you see that option come up, we're going to click on it. And the one that we're interested in is the size 10-32, 1 inch, fully threaded. So if I select that piece, I could order it, or I could download a CAD copy, which is what I'm going to do there. And that, of course, is free. We are going to choose the 3D step file, and then we're going to go ahead and download. So you will be able to find that file in your downloads folder. If you have any trouble accessing the part in McMaster Car, I have also put the file that I downloaded in Schoology. So you could download it here from the assignment file if you want to. So let's go back to Onshape, and we're going to bring in this part that we just downloaded. So we are going to choose to add an import. So we need that plus sign in the lower left-hand corner, and we'll click on the import button, and this is going to allow us to bring in the file that we just downloaded. I have several versions of it, because I've done this a few times. I'm going to choose the most recent download. This is the option we want. We want to import into the document, and then we will click the import button. So now in the Selfie Stick Assembly tab here, we're going to choose to insert. And you can see, here's the file that I just imported, the plastic head thumb screw. I'm going to click it, and now I can kind of see it appear among all of the parts that I am working with. So I'm just going to include it here, not on top of any other part, but near them. I just click down, and then I can choose to accept my addition here. I'm going to pull my sidebar a little bit wider so that we can see the names of the parts. I don't think I need these. Let's clear all that. Okay. So I want to choose the first plastic head thumb screw here, and I'm going to right click on it and choose properties. This is going to give me a chance to make this name a little bit easier to deal with. We're going to just call it the thumb screw. So I've renamed the part, and I'm going to apply and save and close. So now I see my part is called the thumb screw. I'm also going to group. The thumb screw comes originally in two different parts. We have the head, and then we have the screw post. And we want them to basically function as one unit, one part. So we're going to group them. We're going to use this group tool, which we have used before, as you may recall. And then we're going to click on the two pieces that we want to group, thumb screw, and then the other part of our import here. So once I have them both selected in the left-hand sidebar, I'm going to accept this grouping, and they are officially grouped. If I move one part of the screw, they both move together because they're grouped now. Next, I just wanted to kind of look through the tabs for a minute. In the past few assemblies, we have usually had our part studio on the left, and then our sub-assemblies or assemblies to the right of the part studio. We've kind of oriented things a little bit differently for this project. We have our assembly in a tab here on the left, and then to the right we have various part studios. This is the part that we just imported, and then we have each part in its own part studio. And they've already been kind of inserted into this assembly to help us get started. So I want to find a part called the phone holder bottom. It's off to the right here, the phone holder bottom, because that is where I'm going to engrave my name for this project. The best place to engrave it is actually going to be on the back. It won't always be on the back. But here, let's take a look at this. I'm going to sketch onto this side of the phone holder bottom. And I'm going to look directly at the back so I can really see what I'm doing. And I'm going to shift the entire canvas by using my mouse scroll wheel as a button. When I push that button down and I move my mouse, the whole canvas moves, which is so helpful. If you haven't yet connected a mouse, I strongly recommend it. Okay, so we're going to put our name on this phone holder bottom. I've got my text tool here. I'm going to draw a frame for my text. I'm going to write my name. There it is. And then I'm just going to resize it so that it fits in the phone holder bottom. I'll make it 1.5 inches. Okay. All right, that looks good. I'm just going to accept, and let's go back to isometric view. Or maybe I shouldn't, because I want to keep looking at the back. I'm going to extrude. I'm going to find my name. I'm going to do a remove. I'm just going 1/10 of an inch. And there we go. So you can't really see it from this angle, but once we get things in place, you'll be able to see your name in our final assembly. All right, let's go back to the selfie stick assembly tab. We're going to take another look at all of our parts. We are going to hide the pieces that we don't need to deal with at the very beginning of our project. So we'll click on this eyeball to hide the phone holder bottom. I'm also going to hide the phone holder top. I'm going to keep everything related to the shoe. I'm going to hide the stick adapter, the stick top, and the stick bottom, and I will hide the thumb screw. So now we have the pieces that we need to get started with. I'm just going to center them a little bit and zoom in a bit so we can see them better. I think I can also make this smaller. Okay. So we're going to start by choosing the shoe top and fixing it in place. I'm going to right click on it and choose fix. So that means, of course, that I cannot drag it around anymore, the way I can move around these other parts that are not fixed yet. Next, we are going to use the cylindrical mate. So if we look at all of our mates, we have, of course, the fastened mate, the revolute mate, we have the slider mate, the planar mate. Here is the cylindrical mate. And this, again, is kind of a combination of the slider mate and the revolute mate, in that it will let things slide up and down as well as revolve around one of the axes. So we are going to use our cylindrical mate, and we're going to mate the shoe and the shoe top. So let's take a close look at the shoe. We are going to grab this edge, kind of a circular edge, where the head meets the post. That's really what we want. So I'm going to get very close to this circular edge where the post is meeting the head, and I'm going to click on that first. And then I'm going to drag my canvas so that I can get to the shoe top. And I'm going to select the lower circle. Here we go. The circle from the bottom of the shoe top. And there we go. Looking good. All right, next we are going to use the fastened mate, and we're going to mate the shoe bottom here. So I just like to kind of bring it over to where it's going to be going. I'm going to grab my fastened mate, and I'm going to start by fastening the shoe top. and the shoe bottom. So let's get the shoe top first. In order to do this, I'm going to choose one of these edges, a point on the edge where things kind of meet up, right about there. Like that. And then I'm going to rotate. And I'm going to find a corresponding edge right about here on the shoe bottom. And if we look at things, they look nice and flush, just right. I'm going to accept that mate. Awesome. Next, let's unhide the stick adapter. Here we go. I'm going to zoom out a bit so I can find it. There it is. So the stick adapter is going to meet up with the shoe bottom. They can kind of meet up here. I want to orient the stick adapter so that it will meet up in a vertical way. So I'm going to use, I'm going to click on it once, and you may recall we have our tripod manipulator here that lets us maneuver things along 3 degrees of freedom. We've got the y-axis, we've got the x-axis here, we can move along. We have the z-axis, of course, and we can also rotate about any of these axes. So I could rotate about the z-axis like this. I'm just going to go back to 0 here. I could rotate about the x-axis, or sorry, I think I'm rotating about the y-axis here like this. And what I want to do in this case is rotate about the x-axis. Let's go 90 degrees. I can type in 90, so I'm just right. And then I'll click off of the part. Okay, so we want to use the revolute mate to join these two pieces so that we'll be able to turn and adjust where these two pieces are meeting up. So we are going to find our revolute mate right here. We are going to choose the stick adapter hole on the inside. So let me get kind of close here. Let's choose right about here. And we're going to join that to the shoe bottom. Better rotate around here. And I'll find a corresponding hole. And let's see how it looks. Alright, I think we got it. So we will accept our revolute mate. Next, we are going to unhide our thumb screw. That's going to go right in there. So let me find my thumb screw and unhide it. I don't see it. Let me zoom out. There it is. I'll kind of bring it up to the position where I want it. It is not facing the direction we need it to be. We need to reorient our thumb screw. So again, let's use our tripod manipulator. This time I think we'll be revolving around the z-axis. Let's turn so that we are in position at 90 degrees. Great. Let's try again. Okay, so we're going to move our thumb screw into place. We need to use our cylindrical mate. Let's find the edge where the thumb screw head meets the threaded post here, and we're just going to click on that circle there. Let's go back to the isometric view, and we'll click on the hole that the screw should be going into. So right about there. Perfect. Great, this is going really well. Now that we have our cylindrical mate in place, we're going to use this screw relation to just define that this is in fact a threaded screw that is going into a threaded opening. So once we have our screw tool open, we're going to choose the pieces that are screwed together. So we'll choose our cylindrical mate here, since that is where we have the pieces meeting. Okay. Next up, we're going to unhide the phone holder bottom. So let's find our phone holder bottom right there. And I'm going to zoom out again. Oh, this one's kind of far away. Let's bring it over. Alright, so the phone holder bottom, this hole gets placed on this post here. So we want to reorient the phone holder bottom so that it's going to be facing the direction that we're going to place it in. So I'm at 90 degrees there. I'm just kind of going to move it up. So we're kind of close to each other. And then once again, we're going to look for the where the edges will meet up. Let's get our for the phone holder bottom is going to be another revolute mate. So let's find our revolute mate. And I'm going to turn things around so I can find the hole that is going to meet up with the post. So here we go. And I'll go back to isometric view so I can kind of see things. So that hole should be meeting up with right here, this opening in the shoe top. Let's go ahead and click there. And I think we are good. So now that we have our phone holder bottom in place, guess what's next? The phone holder top. If you said phone holder top, you were correct. Where is the phone holder top? Here it is. Let's bring it closer. And this piece is going to hold the phone in place. And it will be adjustable because, you know, maybe you have different size phones, maybe your phone is in portrait orientation or landscape orientation. So we want to adjust, we want to be able to have an adjustable selfie stick phone holder. Let's orient our phone holder top to 90 degrees, about the x-axis there. And now that it's oriented, we're going to move it a little bit above there. And we are going to think about how we're going to connect them. They will be connected using the slider joint or the slider mate. So let's find our slider mate. We're going to find the bottom of the phone holder top. So let's choose about the center of the bottom there. and that is going to meet up with the top of the phone holder bottom. So that should work. Okay. This is looking good. Next, we only have a couple of pieces that are still hidden. We are going to look for the stick top and unhide it. Let's move the canvas. Here we go. So this stick top is going to meet up with the bottom of the stick adapter. So we are going to use the fastened mate like this, and we want the edge where right about here, the edge where this thinner cylinder meets up with the fatter cylinder, right about there. We're going to join that with this edge of the opening in the bottom of the stick adapter. So there we go. So you can kind of see right here, some of the part is hidden. You can see the hidden edges inside the stick adapter. That's just what we want. Okay, so the stick top is fastened to the stick adapter. Now we're going to show the stick bottom. Let's unhide it and let's zoom out a bit. I want to go back to the isometric view, and I'm going to join the stick bottom with the selfie stick using the slider joint, because you should be able to extend your selfie stick if you want it to be a little bit longer. So these joints will be able to move back and forth, and I'm going to put it in the closed position right now. So I want the top of the stick bottom to be right about here, right under the stick adapter. Let me go ahead and zoom in here. I'm going to choose this edge here, and we will meet up with this edge here. So that looks good to me. So we now have our selfie stick completely assembled. What we are going to need to do is just add some motion, or the degrees of motion that our selfie stick will have. So let's go ahead and edit some of our mates. First, we're going to edit the cylindrical 1 mate. So I'm going to right click on it and choose edit. We want to check the limits box, and we want to set the distance to be a minimum of 0.2 and a maximum of 0.25. We'll set the angle minimum at 0 and the angle maximum to 360. So let's accept that, and maybe we'll try the animation so we can see how things are doing. Let's animate cylindrical 1. Might be hard to see. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see much with this one. but this shoe would have been spinning. All right, let's try one that we'll see better. All right, let's go ahead and edit the Revolute 1 mate. We're going to choose right click and choose edit. From here we want to include an offset. We have the option of offsetting on the Z axis, and we'll go ahead and enter -0.025 for our value. We also want to add limits in the rotation. So we're going to limit from -30 all the way to 90 for our limits. So once those are in place, we can accept, and then we're going to try to see how this looks with some animation. Let's go ahead and animate, and we can see this is how our you can sort of change the angle by which your selfie stick is oriented toward the phone holder. And because we put in limits, it won't go all the way around. We're just kind of using a range of motion that makes sense. Okay, so let's stop our motion. I'm going to stop it right about here. And I'm going to edit the cylindrical 2 mate next. So let's go ahead and choose edit. We want to check the limits box here also. And we're going to choose distance. It should range from -1 to 0. So let's go ahead and see, do we see anything if we were to do some animation? Well, we definitely see some spinning, and we see, because it has that screw relation, when it spins it also draws out of its joint. Alright, and then what if we wanted to see the other motion? Let's see. If I choose the second option, oh, it's just kind of, I think it's going in the other direction. Nice. Well, so if you see this motion, that means you have done your project correctly. Your screw is going in and out. Perfect. Next, let's edit slider 1. That's going to be on the phone holder. Slider 1. Let's edit. And we don't want our phone holder top to get too far off our phone holder bottom. So we're going to edit the distance and the limits. We want to go from 0.1 to 1.4. Alright, I'm going to accept that. And let's look at the motion if we animate. So you can see about how far in the phone holder top is going. And it doesn't keep going because we have added some limits. Great. Last motion is going to be on slider 2. Let's edit. This is, of course, the selfie stick itself and the extender area that we built in for ourselves. So let's give ourselves some limits. And we're going to have a minimum of -10. And a maximum of 0. Alright, let's see how that works. If I right click on slider 2 and choose animate, how does our motion look? Oh, we went all the way to the bottom, and we are closing and getting into place here. So this is about the shortest our selfie stick can be. And now it is extending, and we can see the longest that the selfie stick can be. Great. Okay, well, this was a complicated assembly. I hope that it went okay for you. Good luck with the project, and let me know any questions that you have in class.